Hey everyone, welcome to the Klefboms podcast. I just wanted to do this short video explaining that this video is actually taking place over the course of 3 weeks of me and Mr. Maverick just talking about what's going on with our fantasy league. It started off with us talking about the semifinals. Everything was going strong. We even talked about how in the next week we were going to meet in the finals. Funny enough, lots of stuff happened and the season ended up being canceled. However, I wanted to still post the past 3 weeks what we discussed about, some of the changes, the draft coming up, and things like that. I will do timestamps in the bottom if you want to skip over the semifinals part, if you want to skip to the part where we talk about the draft and stuff like that. So click away and hope to see you guys soon out on the Fantasy League. Hey everyone, welcome to Dropping Klefboms Fantasy League. Mini podcast, whatever, just see what's going on around our fantasy keeper league, dynasty league. Scrub Dynasty here, joined with the commissioner, Mr. Maverick.
Hells yeah.
It's quarterfinals week. It's semifinals week. Cut that. Semifinals week. And, yeah.
I'm suffering injuries as usual. You know, Nate McKinnon going down for a week or two, right when it matters the most. Fan-fucking-tastic for me.
And I am off to a good start. It looks better than it really is. 9-1 against Beer Buds. It's not going to stay that far apart. But we can take a deeper look. Do you want to start by looking over the consolation bracket games, or?
Let's do let's take a look at that. I mean, obviously, let's do a quick summary of last week because there's only 2 matchups last week. We
very good. True call.
Briefly discussed them, but we didn't discuss the outcomes. I mean, you had a nice close matchup with Jesse there.
Yeah, Jesse and I finished 6-5. Came down to the wire.
You guys had a battle.
It was a battle. It was
a little bit of a panic on Sunday, wondering who to add.
It wasn't about who to add. It was about who to drop.
Yeah.
I was going Nyquists all day. Honestly, I asked Jesse in the chat why he didn't do an ad.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he did them all. But I had counted that he was at 6 ads. And I was kind of waiting to see what he was going to do.
Okay.
I knew it was going to really come down to shots on goal or power play.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly points to it. And early in the Sunday day, I had Robin Leonard going. So it was potential for me to be winning the game by early, and I wouldn't have had to make a move at all.
Yeah.
But he didn't come through in the end on the Sunday. He let in a couple goals. I needed a stellar performance for that.
Yeah.
My big weak moment last week was Francouz, and he is no longer on said team. I'm going to go back and say it. I've said it a couple times, and I'm not over it. I should have trusted in my last name. I chose to trade away Carter Hart instead of Francouz, and I might regret that for the rest of the playoffs. We'll see.
Yeah. And I hope that Francouz gets rocked.
Did he just get picked up by...
Nick has him, for this week. So he's got Rask and Francouz. So,
do you want to give the rundown on the final of you and Rundle and
so I
how
mean,
it played out from your perspective?
From what I counted, he used 2 ads. So I don't think he really went for it. But at the same time, the fact that I had 48 points in a week,
you can't surmount. Yeah, that's
is like, so he had 25, and in your matchup, you guys had
22 and 25, I think.
22 and 24.
Yeah.
So
he would have beat both of us.
So
he could have quite possibly beat both of us if we played him.
22 and 24. Mm-hmm. So I would have beat you combined. So I mean, I'm gonna regret that because week 1 I'm gonna be dynamite. Then I won't produce week 2 and 3. But I mean, so I believe that really what it comes down to is he was like, okay, I can't compete with points. Like, this is ridiculous. And I was running 3 goalies. So, like, he couldn't add goalies to keep up with the saves.
He shouldn't lose saves, though. If he had 5 ads, he could have just added 5 goalies.
He should have made sure he had, like, 10 starts in the week. That was the only way with the points.
But
That
at
was
the
the
same
only
time, the save percentage and goals against average was so close that one misstep and he loses both those categories.
But I mean, would you rather just barely lose or lose everything and try and win?
Lose everything and try and win, yeah.
So like, I mean, if it was me, I would have been like, fuck, I can't get the points. Whatever scrap players I have, I'm making sure I got 2 goalies every night. Because if I somehow happen to stumble upon 2 shutouts, that's going to change my stats better, right? And like
Right.
with me running 3 goalies, and if you pay attention to me, I almost never not start a goalie if I have an option to. Like obviously if there's 3 goalies for 2 slots, I have to not start one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have a night where I have, 1 goalie starting, I almost never will be like, I don't like this matchup. I'm going to take him off my roster. I almost never do that.
See, I think my thinking with when I chose Francouz over Hart, which ended up being a non-factor anyway, but part of the reason was I'm like, oh, Francouz is going to get a matchup in the playoffs against Detroit. Definitely rather have him. The first round is the most important round for me of the playoffs. From my perspective, I got to win. So
Yeah.
that's why I made that choice, and he didn't even play. And
Yeah.
then he got lit up twice. So
Yeah.
I think going back, stud goalies, you just start. And you start them relentlessly because they just are stud goalies. And you have stud goalies, so that's why you can do that.
Exactly. And that's why I like to try and have them, because I like to try and do that. Like I already know next year, if my plan goes according to plan, then I only have to worry about a flex goalie, which will make me really strong because obviously beer shows that is possible, right?
Yeah.
And just looking at your matchup as well, I had 140 shots on goal. So, and you guys had 95 and 89.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a stupid week at the right time.
Like I said, my favorite matchup in the semis was against Beer Buds, and I got it, so I was happy.
Yeah.
It's my best chance to make the finals.
Yeah.
That's what I thought going before the season ended. That's why I tried everything I could to beat Nick so that I could.
But why? Why do you think that you have a better chance against him versus Nick? Just because of the forwards?
I think Beer Buds' team has a lot of. I'll get into that. Maybe I should get into this more when we preview that match. But I think it has a lot of variance attached to it. It can. And if he has, because he has 2 players that play together on the same line. So if those 2 lines just dud this week, I should win.
That's true. It can lead to quiet weeks.
Like on a good week, get, 200 points from your players. And you have 3 stud goalies. So
yeah. And that's the thing too, right? Is I was running 3 goalies, so I was
running 3 goalies against Beer Buds too because he only has 1. So he's relying on Hellebuck. That's another weakness of his. If Hellebuck has 1 bad game and he only has 2 games that week, that's
tough.
So that's why we'll see how Hellebuck does tonight against the Oilers. I'm hoping Draisaitl and McDavid put him in his place. So.
Yeah, me too.
All right, do you want to look at this consolation bracket at all?
Yeah,
or?
Let's start the consolation, the bottom 6 teams, and then we'll move our way up to the top 4, the important teams.
So, I'm putting Captain Clutch and goalies on the screen first.
I think we should start with Rundle Puckets and Rocket Trees because that's the battle for drafting 5th and 6th.
Okay, I thought if we did the bottom ones first. But I guess this is the one that actually solid. It's kind of like a mini championship. It's the 5th place match. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. So this will be kind of the one that's solidified after this week. So who will be drafting 5th and 6th? I mean, with all the amount of draft picks that have been moved around, it doesn't really matter as much because everyone's picks are all over the place. Yeah. But if no one had moved picks, then it would be the 5th and 6th pick in every round. So pretty substantial.
Both those guys have a lot of their picks left.
That's true. That is true. But, I mean, what do we think is going to happen here?
Well, right now it's 4-3. Super close. Rundle has the lead in goalies. Jesse has the lead in, peripherals, I guess.
Yeah.
Rundle has the luck box point. And then they're exactly tied in points. This is really anyone's game. Jesse, his best move for me would probably be to add 5 goalies to try to just raise the average of those bad games that he's had so far.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that Jamie's in Florida right now, watching the
Yep.
Jays and whatnot. So like, I don't
Spring
know how
training.
much he's paying
Yeah,
attention.
fair enough.
So I think that if Jesse pays attention and is active, I think that he can. It's his for the taking.
Yeah, and I think to do that, you got to win those goalie categories back.
Yep, exactly. Or have Jamie lose them, which
He's not going to add people to
Blackwood.
lose.
I mean, Hart's pretty consistent. Blackwood's the one that's gonna. He's had 2 games back to back with a 4 GAA and a sub 9 goals
Yeah,
against.
tell me about it.
Or save percentage. I mean.
Tell me about it. All right.
So yeah, we're both taking Jesse.
Yeah, I'm giving him the slight edge. Probably 2 to do with you, 2 with Jamie just being a little more away.
Inactive. Yeah. I agree. So I think that we'll go with that. So then we go into the final 4 who will play this week, and then the winners will play the winners, and the losers will play the losers for the next positions. Yeah. So let's go to the clutch first 2 goalies that you were starting with. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing goalies off to a very hot start.
True.
I know he's active, and I think he's got his eyes on the prize. So.
Oh wait, hold up. I want to see if these ads count, because I don't think they can. They did, because how many ads did Steve use?
He had a buy.
But
what are you looking at? Sorry, that's my dog.
That's okay.
It says 86.
Next time you make an ad, take note. So I'm at 81.
I'm at 91, dude. It's definitely there.
It's moved? Oh, yeah. True, I guess so, right? Okay, so it does count. Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure, because I didn't know the answer to that. So now we know that it does include playoffs.
Yeah.
So then we get to the goalies of this matchup. Damn, it's pretty tight, but how many starts do they got?
Anderson's got 1. He's got 1 start with Anderson. Holtby 1 start as well.
The only downfall to a 1 goalie system is that you're already chasing with ads. By the time you use your ads on goalies, if you're slightly behind on offense, you're behind the 8 ball now on offense, and you're chasing your tail.
Yeah, I think I've run 1 goalie this season for like 1 day.
Yeah, I think where it's at is to have 1 really good goalie and then have a flex, or run a guy for a few weeks while he's hot and then move on. Do that. Yeah. Look at Jari. Jari's really cooled off, right?
Yep. Rittich seems to have lost the job to Talbot right now too.
Yeah.
We never touched on that in the NHL part, but
which Ben should probably drop both of those guys, considering that he only has Freddie. He should drop down to just Holtby and just battle that way, would be my suggestion.
Yeah, he might get a good start from Jari this week. I'm not sure their schedule.
True. Columbus, but I would drop Rittich.
Columbus or Carolina. He's going to get one of those. Probably Carolina. Well, he's probably going to get. He might not get Carolina again because he let in 6 last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably drop those 2 and moved on to someone.
I'm sure there's a better matchup versus Detroit or somebody that you can jump on. But he also lost Hedman, so like that trade's kind of biting him in the butt now that he made that move for Huberdeau, Hall, and Hedman. Now Hedman's hurt, not even helping him in the playoffs, and Hall's been not very good.
Yeah.
But he did want Huberdeau. That was the real reason he made that trade. I just thought he gave up too much at the time.
I think so.
And even Huberdeau in the last 10 games he has 1 good game where he had 4 points.
Well, I guess he had a bye last. Huberdeau has only played 1 game this playoff, so.
Yeah, but in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games, not including the one where he had the 4-point night.
Yeah.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points in 12 games.
Wow.
And he doesn't really hit, right? So.
Yeah.
He hits a little bit and he shoots a little bit. A lot of 2s and 4s, occasional 6, 7. So he's just above replacement level, really. So.
Right,
I don't know.
I'm moving on to Team Joey and Beefy.
Okay. Who are you taking?
I would have taken Beefy until Mrazek came back from injury because he wouldn't have made it starts if that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's true.
So now I think it's a battle. It's going to come down to goalies.
Yeah. And
Dylan has a big hole to come back from on offense, though. And he's running 3 goalies, so I don't know if that's going to work out for him either.
I think he's going to drop Corpusalo, though. You got to think he's going to drop Corpusalo and Crawford and add 2 forwards and then maybe one more.
Yeah, did he miss an opportunity to do that today, though?
Maybe. Possibly. Yeah, Jake Allen even maybe would be a nice start. Speaking of which, I might actually no. I don't have my. I made a rule to myself that I'm not making any ads till after tonight because I have a much better idea.
I had to do that too. I've already used 4.
I had to add Raquel because he was on a back-to-back, so that's like 2 ads in one.
Yep.
But I also look at my schedule from Sunday backwards. We'll come back to that. But I look at my schedule Sunday backwards for my ads. So
yeah. All right.
So I guess we kind of have the same order. So I guess that would leave. You would have Ben versus Dylan and Joey versus Steve.
Yep.
And then I guess what's your prediction if that's the case? Who gets the McDavid pick?
I think it's going to go to Joey.
You think so, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it's going to Steve.
Joey's team's good. Like it's.
He is, and
he's good. He was good enough to be a top 4 team in the league if he was just active.
Just on goalies, even.
Yeah.
Just on goalies. But I hope he learns his lesson because, like, when you look at the moves, he only made 10 all year. I'm glad he made it to double digits. But I mean, everyone else.
It won't be as impactful next year because those less ads. But
the stronger teams like Dylan shouldn't need ads, right? Or the teams that have all the draft picks shouldn't need ads.
That as well,
in theory.
In theory, yeah. But
also,
people you need to build teams to be able to ads. You get more games.
Yeah.
You get more points.
Yeah.
All right. Which semifinal match first? The scrub.
I think we go with mine first, just because you got to leave the first place team
to go last.
Out of respect, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So, looking at Nick and my battle, it's gonna be a fucking tight ass race because it always is.
Yeah, it's a good match. Good match.
It is, and I don't know why it only shows on the phone app. I'm pulling it up, but it shows like the games played thing.
Yeah.
So he's played. Okay, we're even now, but before the night started, he was like 6 games or 5 games, something like that, up on me. So I wasn't too worried when I was down a bunch of points, and now I'm basically right there. And when I look at points, I basically ignore assists because I kind of think in any given night, anybody can kind of get 3 assists, shoot it off somebody's butt, a lucky bounce.
Yeah, but certain players have a higher probability of assists than others.
They do, but I guess what I'm saying is goals are harder to come by than assists.
Yep.
/ it's harder to get a
multi-goal. That's how I built my draft this year. Was all about
assist.
Shooting and goals.
Yeah, that's kind of what I go for too. So I mean, that's why I say that is when I ignore assists, if I get goals and points, I'm happy. Assists is the cherry on top. And if you have goals and points, you're probably going to be in the line for assists in most weeks as well. So
yep.
I think, I never get lucky with goals, game-winning goals. I'll probably end the week with 1. So we'll see there.
Yeah.
But I like my chances for shots and goal, and I think that we're the 2 biggest hitters. Well, no, you're in there too. Me, you, and Nick are the
team,
3 biggest hitting teams.
But that Dustin Brown ad for you, if he continues to play good, I know he had a dud game earlier this week, but it's 1 game. He's getting a ton of minutes. He's gonna give you some of the good peripherals at the very least.
Yeah, it's very true. And like I'm hoping that
if
somebody has to play on LA, right?
Exactly.
Seems like all the old
I 100% agree with that. I picked him up on my other team.
Yeah, he has a bit of a break here though. I'm making a weird drop on Sunday. You're gonna be like, what? I guess I can just say it's Larkin. I'm gonna drop Larkin.
Yeah, well, it's the last week. I've thought about at what point do I drop Matthews after his last game?
Yeah, might as well.
Yep.
I mean, at the end, Nick and I always pick up all these guys just for fun, but like, I'm surprised no one's picked up Stamkos off you yet. I'm really shocked.
What purpose?
Because maybe somebody out there wants to keep their second for Stamkos. Maybe Joey would like Stamkos for a second.
Yeah, it's pretty safe number 2.
Yeah.
Can be.
I'm a little worried because he's been battling injuries the past couple of years, so that's why I'm not going to spend on as high this year on him. Well, if he's 20th, then yeah, I might take him.
Yeah, but if things work out, maybe I'll add him and then trade him to Joey for like a 10th rounder, and then he can keep him. I'll manufacture an asset out of nothing. But what I was going to say for games played is I have 10 extra games played as per right now than Nick.
10 more to go.
Ads. No, so I've played 13 out of 51. He's played 12 out of 43.
Okay.
So I have
I'm surprised he's picked up Francouz here.
I know. I'm hoping he gets rocked tonight.
Just as I was surprised, Beers picked up Price. Do you want to switch over to that
And then
one?
he dropped him. Yeah, it's hilarious. So he wasted $29. I think there's still going to be guys that go on waivers till the last week where you're like, what? I like that guy as a 7th round keeper or whatever. I'll snag him or at the end of the season. Oh, this guy's a free agent. I don't mind his 12th round keeper status. I got 3 of those. Sure, I'll keep him.
Yeah,
those kind of ads. But yeah, so if you go to your matchup, which you think you're going to win?
I've been thinking I'm going to win this matchup for 3 weeks.
You actually called me and you in the final, I think, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the original call. I don't think I made
the playoff picture finished exactly how I planned.
Yeah. I'm happy with how it finished. I want to play Nick before the final. Like, if
I want one of you to take each other out. Like
exactly, yeah. And that's the thing is you got to like one of us has to fall early, right?
Yep.
And right now I'm looking at the picks. He's minus 45. I'm minus 18. Even if I fall, I'm still in good position for next year, or in relatively good position for next year. Plus I got 2 trades, maybe 3 trades lined up for once the season's done. So
I have 1, I think, maybe 2.
Yeah. It really depends because the picks, once they actually like fall into place, will really allow people to actually make some trades.
Yeah.
Because there will still be those trades at the end where like it will be interesting because in that other pool where I had the experience for the keepers, there was a lot of only like, 1s and 2s owned in rounds. So like you could almost predict what teams would talk to what teams about moving what picks. When I look at the chart here, there's a ton of 2s and 4s and 3s and like a whole whackload of 0s. So like it will be very interesting to see what teams still line up for moving draft pick trades.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 5 11th rounders.
Like it's really hard for you and I to make a draft pick trade, I think.
Let me see here.
Because
what is your keeper rounds? Do you know?
There's all my bottom ones and possibly some mid ones.
So like 11, 12, 13 you're talking?
Yeah, and 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so if you're like in there, then like we could look at, for example, moving, depending what your 6th rounder picks are. You got 2 in the 6th round and where mine is. Maybe I want to move up in the 6th round, for example. Mm-hmm. Maybe I want to move down in the 6th round and you move up and then we move another pick that is the other way.
A lot of things.
Yeah, like if for example, those 6 rounders, if I have a 6th round keeper and I got the top pick in the 6th round, well, you have the bottom pick in the 6th round. We might as well swap. You move up 9 picks.
Sorry, my dog is like making nonstop noise. I don't know if you hear that.
A little bit.
He wants me to feed him so bad. I don't know.
We'll round it up pretty quick.
You hear that, Milo? All right.
But yeah, so like for those 6, for example, if we're keeping those, then if that example, you move up those 9 picks and then I maybe move up, 9 picks. If it's not in 1 round, it's over 2 rounds somewhere else. Maybe I move up 4 here and 5 there or something,
Yep.
So those are the type of trades that I foresee coming. That will be interesting to see once they all actually fall into place. Because 2 trades that I'm looking at one trade that I'm looking at directly depends on how these playoffs work.
Yep.
And right now it does not look good for me. So if it finished right now, it would have been it's the worst. Other than me losing last week, would have been the worst possible outcome.
Really?
I need to win, you need to win, and Dylan needs to win. for this trade to basically work.
Yeah, and freaking, we need Ben to start winning.
Yes, I need Ben to win for another trade. Not so much. It's a backup thing. Not a backup thing.
I need him to win for my draft picks.
Yeah, that's true too. I haven't even looked at that, but I'm gonna do in the offseason, I'm just gonna make a list of 160 skaters and then rank them.
Yeah.
And then as it goes off, I'm just gonna mark them off, and then there'll be a bunch of guys probably in the 50s or 60s for me that are still available, like in the 11th round, that I'll take. But we'll see. But yeah, with your matchup, I'm gonna take you too. I'm nothing against Beard. I want you to win.
I want to win too, so that's okay.
I want to play you just because of the podcast. I think it would be really fun. The what's the word I'm looking for? Not the original. The
original butchered that word.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what.
I know the word you're thinking of though.
I can't remember, but yeah. So it's gonna be the first year of our podcast. Keepers League. How fitting would it be, me and you in the final? So yeah. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, that's another reason I'm rooting that way too.
Yeah, I think it would just be fun to kind of, even it might make us do a Sunday podcast on the Sunday evening if it's close. Be like
a live stream.
Yeah, right down through the last couple of games, watch it and get the reactions or whatever. I think it could be fun. Could be interesting.
Sure, that'd be cool.
So then if I don't even want to predict, but me versus you should be a good matchup too. I hope no matter how it is, like even when I texted Nick at the beginning of the week, I was like, good luck this week. And like, honestly, I just hope it's a good matchup. I would be more down to lose regardless if it was close. And like, I'm interested in making ads into Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
If I lost, than just like getting rocked or rocking somebody.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's not as nice.
Yeah. It's the little chess match part of it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
All right. Any last things?
No, I think I'm looking forward to this week. I hope I take Nick down. Those numbers I said before, you know how they change if you don't set your lineups throughout the week. I don't know if Nick has an auto set his lineup. If that's the case, those numbers could be irrelevant. But
yeah, I don't know that too. I have a lot of games on beers too.
Yeah, it seems like maybe he hasn't. I'm going with he hasn't, and the games played must be closer. But if he's already added, I think 3 guys or 2 guys, and they were goalies, he's behind the 8 ball for me, especially when I plan on using like 5 ads through Saturday, Sunday. Like,
really?
I think it's 5 ads Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
yeah, I projected a lot of my ads early this week.
Yeah.
I was going to do 5 and 2.
I got a nice schedule this week. There are a lot of early games. Plus, I got Raquel on a back-to-back, which was nice.
That was, yeah.
And he put up 2 points or 3 points last night, so hopefully he has another.
I did a weird ad in Yoast, but that's about it.
Yeah, you always pick up the same guys, eh? You with Keller and Yoast, and not Yoast before, but Keller, and you have like your certain guys you like that I feel like. Yeah, I shouldn't
like Keller as much. He hasn't done shit for me the past.
I actually want to see this, so I go to Keller and I go to player history.
No, don't. He's been cut and added to my team at least 4 times.
Added by Scrubs. 2 weeks later, dropped by Scrubs. 2 weeks later, I added him. The next day, I dropped him. 2 days later, off waivers, you added him for $0. 3 days later, you dropped him. 2 days later, Jamie added him off waivers. 5 days later, he dropped him. 2 days later, Nick adds him off waivers.
He's been passed around a lot.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. February 20th, you pick him up. February 21st, you drop him. March 4th, you pick him up. March 5th, you drop him.
He's March a one 9th, and done.
You pick him up. March 10th, you drop him. So you've owned him 3 times since March 4th. You've literally picked him up, dropped him.
He's like my top AHL player that someone gets hurt, he comes up, and then he goes back down.
That's so funny. Every time I see him he's never on my radar. That's why when I notice people that aren't on my radar, I take notice. Almost more so than when I'm like, fuck, that was one of the guys on my radar. Because it's usually Nick or you or whatever adding those guys. But when I see guys off my radar, I'm usually like almost predicting who I think made that ad. and you were not in my first couple. But then I was like, wait a second.
For Keller?
We owned him a bunch of times, and then I looked and I was like, yeah, he's. I didn't look that detailed.
I love me
but I was
Keller,
like,
man. I love me some Keller. He'll find the way.
I didn't add it up. So wait, there's you, me, Jamie, Nick. So 4 teams have owned him this year.
And me, like, probably as much as you guys.
Yeah, you've owned him like 7
not
times.
Not days wise necessarily, but times.
No, not days, just transactions. You've owned him 1, 2,
Jesus,
3,
dog.
4, 5, 6 times. So he's been added and dropped over 11 times.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Maybe possibly the most added dropped guy.
I wish that they would show that as like a tally,
some stats, yeah.
Like at the end, like, you know, how many times they've been added in your league or something like that. That would be kind of neat. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. Malkin's been absolutely destroying the world for me lately, so I hope he continues on. Patty Kane, thank you. Has a goal tonight, power play goal.
You're welcome. His
7
replacement
shots.
got me a game-winning power play goal, so it's okay.
Okay, fair enough. Timo Myers got power play assists and a shot on goal.
You're welcome for that one.
Yeah. I wish I could, add a goalie, but I gotta wait. I gotta be patient.
I had Cal Peterson on my other team today, so
Yeah, that's another guy I have.
let's root for him. It's another guy you don't watch. You mean?
He's another guy who I think is a solid goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Who, for a while, a lot of people have drooled over. That I've just been kind of like, what am I missing? Like, what am I not?
The hockey guy is the YouTube channel that I watch. I think I've told you about him before. He likes him a lot, and I trust a lot of his opinion because he watches so much hockey. Like, more than anyone I know.
And like, I haven't watched him a ton, but I don't. The little bit of research I've done, I don't know. I don't see why. I don't know. Sometimes there's players where I'm missing something. Like, I'm clearly missing something. I just don't know what I'm missing. So, not that I'm,
You're just missing clicking that add button.
Until I add him and he gets rocked.
Yeah.
And then I never look at his name again. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a close one. I think this Bears one with me. It looks worse than it is. Hellebuck could really steal it for him. Yeah.
And that's the thing is when you run the one goalie system, it's all about your goalie. Like if your goalie sucks that week, you got to scramble hard to get the points. Like I hate to say this, but I almost wish we didn't agree to make changes to this pool. I really like the setup.
Yeah, I agree. I think the setup is perfect the way it is.
And everything. I like it.
I like it the way it is too. I'm a little worried to have defense matter more because there isn't that many defense left that are impactful the way these forwards are. It's going to be a little weird. Then maybe we need to revisit. I don't know.
I want to revisit, but the main reason I'm hesitant, if I'm being completely honest, is because we went through this and Dylan kind of has made his
decisions based off that.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But if you look at his team, I can't disclose too much because we've discussed some stuff that I'm not just gonna
of course
out here, obviously. But like if you look at his defensemen, where are they here? Makar, Pionk, and Hamilton. I don't know if he's interested in keeping any of them or which ones he's interested in keeping, but I would assume he wants to keep Dougie, and for good reason. Like he's an elite defenseman, especially in terms of shooting, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you want to keep Makar. I know he sent that message out, but I don't know if he's actually seriously interested in keeping him. But like, if I was him under either rule, it doesn't affect me or my decisions.
Exactly. I would think the same way about almost every team that's left.
Yeah, but we've already done this, so like,
it's always okay to have the conversation.
I've thought about it, so I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm honestly considering trying to get some sort of hangout sesh at some capacity. Obviously, you might not be able to attend, but we can get you in
September, and I can probably come.
Oh, okay. then we can do something and just kind of, well, September might be late for that, but like in terms of like sit down and like hash it out and be like, is this sticking point? Like, what do we want? So that way, like, because you know how sometimes over text, like, you get really stuck up on one point, you're not realizing like the answers or like the information is being relayed for that point, and then you're still like not sure what you're trying to get. So like at least if we sat down and hashed it out, if it wasn't making sense to certain people, we can like get to it. And quite often when people get stuck up on something, it's actually something else behind it that they're really stuck up on. So like maybe we can get to something that's really more of an issue than anything. Like, I don't know. I like the setup.
I do like the setup too. It's fun.
The ads are fun. Like, the
ads are fun, and the waiver wire is decent. Where the ads are for players that are decent to watch too. Like, you're getting first line, second line players.
And that's the thing, when the bottom line's a little higher, you can have more activity because there's actually players you want on free agency. In my other pool right now, I had a bunch of injuries and I lost a bunch of guys. And like I had like Barclay Goodrow, for example, on San Jose, who was a king, and since he's gone to Tampa, because in this other pool we have all the peripherals, so like the face-offs, the penalty minutes, the hits, blocks, all of that. So I was like, oh, he's a beast, right? He went from I think like 50th ranked player to like 180 overnight, basically. So like I dropped him. I had somebody else I can't remember. I had Tarasenko, who I've lost all year. I had what's his name, Borowiecki. I had Myers, who's been in and out of the lineup. Who else did I have? I had a couple other players as well that I just like. So like I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've got ads and like I need to make ads because I've got open roster spots. I went 3 days last week with an open spot because there was nobody to me that made sense or that was clearly an obvious like ad, like even in the transaction page. It was all just like third line wingers who happen to be on a back-to-back, or like, you know, a physical right winger who is like a fourth line right winger who might not even play, like a Ryan Reeves or something. Like, you might get 20 penalty minutes that night, but if you don't, you might have 8 hits and that's it.
It's just more fun to like want players that score goals. Hockey's about scoring goals.
And that's what you pay attention to, right? Even if you're just watching SportsCenter or the ticker underneath or Twitter.
I like the setup. It's really like early in the season, you could really just not do any ads. I think the first 3 weeks of this season, I just let my team play. Maybe 1 or 2 ads here and there.
That's why I do the 100 ads, because then if not, then everybody does these ads, and it's almost a protection against people in themselves. Because I was always guilty of dropping guys a month into the season. Right? Yeah, exactly. So people are like, well, if I have these limited ads, I'm more inclined to give a guy 4 or 5 weeks than 2 weeks, or give a guy 6 or 7 weeks than 4 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, you got to save them down. You don't know where you're going to be. And then all of a sudden, if you're just not that team, okay, well, I'm going to sell off and, use my ads. It's too bad you couldn't sell ads, trade ads. I mean, technically you could, but it would cost you a pick or something each time.
Yeah.
Like if Steve ran
do you think next season big trades like that one, like the ones we had this season, will happen as early?
I don't think they'll happen at all.
Well, they'll happen.
I think they'll happen at the deadline.
Yeah, exactly. But not early.
No. Not unless somebody comes in and blows somebody away. Which, there's only 2 people who... Like, here's the other thing that I don't think many people who have thought of, other than maybe me, you, and Nick, is that everybody has these high draft picks, and they're going to be taking these guys.
They're going to have to
but they're also locking themselves in, probably, for keeping first and second rounders. So if you flip that around, who has first and second rounders available for trade? Well, it ain't them.
Yeah.
So at a trade deadline, if, I don't know, Team X is out of it and they've got 4 good players, hey, here's a first rounder for 4 good players. Nobody else is going to give you a better return. All of a sudden, me and Nick are a 5th place team and we acquire 3 or 4 studs. We jump into the playoffs and all of a sudden we change the game at the end.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I tried to do this year.
But a lot of teams won't have that capital, right?
It's funny. I actually tried to sell off my team because I thought I was done. And then I went on a 8-game, or was it 7-game winning streak? I think it was 7.
You had a roller coaster season.
It was.
You thought you were in, and then you thought you're out, and then you're rebuilding, and then you're in, and then you regretted making trades, and then you're out, and then you're back in.
And now I'm winning it all.
Honestly, that's why I, in my head, this is exactly what I wanted to happen, because we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And like on a week-to-week basis, it's
fun.
Knows, right?
It's fun.
Like it's fun to me. It's great being like, we could play this Final Four 100 times and we'd have so many different winners. Like, it sucks because it's like, yeah, we spent all these picks to try and give ourselves a better chance, which I think it was very marginal. But
yeah, you guys, I don't know, you guys made it.
I don't think it was worth it.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
I'm happier I didn't spend as much as Nick. That's the only consolation in my mind.
You guys just went super early. If I was Dylan, I would have never sold what he did, though, either. Because I felt... Because his team wasn't out of it.
I have a feeling that there's, like he's just kind of taken a backseat in fantasy this year. Because, like, even in the other pool he runs, me and him, I think, are facing for fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem to really pay attention a whole lot. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I feel like he decided, you know what, if I make these trades, at least I have the picks in hand. I don't have to worry about fucking around later. Yeah. And I know I can build towards I think he really wants a guy to keep. Like, I think he really wants to keep like McKinnon for like 3 years, right? Like, I think that's really what he wants more than, winning year one. I think he values that more. So
that's fair.
I think that's just what it is, which is fair, yeah. Which I think because of that, in the other pool, he's just kind of like, eh. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not
if the draft was tomorrow, who are the top 5 picks?
My order? Oh, players. The players?
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other day, and I was struggling to, because I think it's a bit of a gamble to take Ovi too early. Mm-hmm. Just in the keeper sense. Like, obviously he's a great player for the next year or two, and then maybe a bit of a decline, but like, he's also pretty much just a goal scorer these days. He doesn't get that, point per game as much anymore. He gets just the goal still.
He is beneficial for his hits.
Hits and shots, yes.
Always giving them a good...
Yeah. But to answer your question, I got to say, obviously, McDavid 1. McKinnon 2.
Okay.
It's hard to say what keepers aren't being capped late that would sneak up. Like, for example, Draisaitl.
Just for anyone if anyone ever gets this far and somehow gets to the point in the podcast and why we're not naming Draisaitl, it's because he's going to be capped, right?
Yes, by me.
By this guy.
In the 3rd round.
Anyway, sorry. Had to throw that disclosure there. You never know. There might be someone 20 years from now watching this and be like, oh, Klefboms.
Yeah, what the fuck? But yeah, so like that's an example. So probably Kucherov next. Maybe Marchand after that. And then maybe Ovi.
Okay, I was more curious
Pasternak's being capped.
Yep.
Panarin's being capped.
I was kind of curious where we're seeing Matthews go.
Probably next.
Like top 6?
Maybe, depending who has that pick. If it's a bit of a Leaf fan.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Like, I mean, I think pretty much everyone goes McDavid 1. I think pretty much everybody goes McKinnon 2. I'm pretty sure most everybody goes Cooch 3. And I think the variance goes at probably 4 or 5.
Yeah, like I don't think any of us are going to get him. Well, you're not going to get him by like round 7.
No.
It'll be one of the guys with 2 picks. He's going to have Matthews and someone else.
Yeah. But even then, at the end of that year, you can only keep 1, right? So one of them is going to be available for being capped. So let's say, for example, I don't trade my first and I keep him. After that season, okay, you can't keep Matthews. He's worth nothing to you. I'll trade you, 11th and 12th for 13th and 14th for a free asset. And now I get Matthews, bang, I keep him. Now all of a sudden I have Matthews as my keeper for nothing. Just because I waited a year.
It's going to be more of that shit, dude.
I know it is, but I'm not going to throw out my best price on the podcast just in case somebody does some research. But you know what I mean, right? So, the only people that can enter that market is people who don't get their first rounder who they really want to keep, which, I mean, depending where you end up, I don't know. I feel like you might be kind of more towards what I'm saying with Nick and I feel like you may not keep your first round next year. I think it's actually most beneficial to not.
I'm going to win next year.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Back to back.
You know what would be hilarious is if the four of us, the final four, make the playoffs again next year. Which I think Dylan's in the playoffs. I think Dylan's in the playoffs for sure. But then after that, it's gonna be hard fought because I think that Jesse's gonna be right there. Yeah. I think Jamie's pretty good at drafting usually. He usually gets kind of unlucky on a couple things, but like I know he drafted Bufflin by mistake. I know that was something like he ran out of time on who he really wanted, and he auto drafted Bufflin as the next best player. So like he got nobody at that pick, right? So like take anybody there that's one notch better, right? Mm-hmm. So he also traded me Malkin for Point, and he traded me Malkin and Kuznetsov for Point and whatever, which didn't really work out for him. So I mean, there's two things that made him weaker, and he still almost got into the Final Four. So like you got to think.
Well, he got a boost at the end with that Carter Hart, but
true, but he was also stubborn in not getting a goalie. So I mean, if he went and got something off free agency earlier, maybe he didn't
just abandon Rene about a few months ago.
Yeah, maybe he drops both and picks up, I don't know, freaking Shesterkin and I don't know who's another goalie that came out of nowhere. And Jari was earlier, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You pick up two, or you picked up freaking what's his name? When Bishop went out, you pick up Goodobin for a week or two, and then you just ride that wave. So like there's three examples of how he could have moved higher and how he could maybe capitalize on being better next year or improving as a general manager. But I mean, that's what you got to do each year, right? Is find a way to make yourself a better manager because everyone else is going to do it, right? That's what I'm a bit worried about with Ben. Like he's got a like not worried about Ben, but I'm worried that he misses the playoffs again next year. Like he's got a target on him because he went to build, he didn't get that many picks, and if he doesn't hit on the draft and other people pass him, he'll be a seller again next year. Which
whatever, that's
You have to take that step eventually. But
unless you're the Coyotes.
I hope well, yeah. I hope he does. Yeah, I hope that him and Joey become more active and pay a little bit more attention and kind of follow the lead. But I don't think there's really a weakness anymore. Like I like it. I like
a good solid pool. Yeah,
I like the balance. Yeah, and like I would consider expansion to 12 under the right circumstances, but I kind of just like the setup now.
I know that Jesse's only been in the pool for 4 weeks or so. He already loves it. Like he loves the format. So it's definitely it's been fun. It's been a fun season.
It's very different. I've never seen a pool kind of set up this way, but
that's what I was kind of hoping to do too. I modeled my baseball after this, to be honest.
Oh, cool.
Because this has been my most enjoyable ones probably ever. So
podcast probably helps. Minus the bullshit that happened, but other than that, I agree. I think it's been like I know I can't say other than the bullshit. It's been great because there's been no bullshit, but like
that's
a
good answer though.
Incident around the one set of circumstances. I think everybody's had a really good fun time and would do it again kind of thing. You know what I mean? They have to do it again, but you know what I mean? Like exactly. But yeah.
Sounds great.
Excited.
All right. Do you want to call it here?
Yeah, let's call it.
All right. Nice seeing you. Talk again next week.
Yep. Probably sooner, but good luck. Yeah. Hopefully we meet in the final. That's what I'm looking forward to.
When you see us again, we'll be discussing this final. All right.
Hopefully McKinnon didn't cost me, but we'll see.
Take care, my friend. Hey everyone, we are back. Klefboms Fantasy League special edition. That's the same time as normal, but we're going to call it special edition because quite possibly the season is over and no championship is going to be crowned. Quite possibly, we're not sure.
Very disappointing.
Very, very disappointing. I'm joined here with my main man, Mr. Maverick, aka the commissioner of dropping Klefboms.
That would be me.
We just wrapped up our NHL portion of the podcast, which you will be able to check out on the channel. Just go look at that. I don't know if I'll probably forget to put a link, but maybe I shouldn't. So yeah, here we are, NHL on hiatus, Fantasy Yahoo on hiatus, Klefboms on hiatus.
Yeah. I'm very disappointed myself, especially Nick and my circumstance.
Yeah.
With all things considered, Sean comes in, wins the league with only making one kind of tinkering type move. And the two teams who finished second and third are Nick and myself, who basically sold off all of our assets. Combined, we sold over 60 rounds worth of picks. 60 rounds worth of picks between two teams. Don't worry, he did like 70% of that, not me. But it sucks for us because we don't even get a chance to compete for the money, which is really where the battle for us was. And we were happening to face off against each other. So somebody was going to be happy and somebody was going to be disappointed. And it looked like both matchups in the top four were going to be really close. So it looked like we were in for a good week.
Yeah, we were in for some interesting down the stretch playoffs.
Yeah.
In NHL too, but the fantasy, it was shaping up to be quite a finish.
One of the best of all time.
Both of the games were 6-5.
Yep.
Going in, and I think we only played 3 out of the 7 days of the week before.
Well, sorry, you can say 6-5. I have to say 5-6.
Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah.
But even in between for third and fourth to get into the final battle, second and third, the points were only 1 point off difference. We were within 3 shots on net, 5 hits. And there was only 1 goal difference in 1 save. So, I mean, we had 3 games difference played, so we were locked in for a heavy battle. So, I mean, it
could have went either way for either matchup. It's very disappointing. I'm with you. Like, I didn't care if I won or lost. This was just a very exciting fantasy season. And I think we're pretty sure that the season's over for fantasy, at least.
I think so.
Because I think we're in our podcast earlier, we were talking about how if they do resume, it'd be playoffs only. I don't know how Yahoo would make that work, let alone how we would want to make that work as our own separate entity from Yahoo.
Yeah.
So, I think it's safe to say the season's over, and it sucks because we worked this whole time for this, getting emotionally invested. And
spending hours talking about it, breaking down things, looking at stuff, the trade deadline, spreadsheets, everything for something we didn't expect to be kind of coming to fruition. And it just really sucks. I mean, the biggest winner in all of this has got to be Jesse. He kind of shows up for a week and fucks everything up and then just says, I'm good for the summer. I'm a Sabres fan. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, I think that we have to seriously – I think the season's 99.9% over.
Yeah.
And I think that we have to start looking at moving forward.
For sure. And what the solutions are going to be for certain problems that not being able to finish the season might bring up.
Yeah, everyone seems to kind of be on board. Everyone's is kind of in agreement that the money left over should kind of go to the teams left fighting for it.
Yep. I think that makes the most sense. I'm in another league as well, and that same decision's being made. There's 8 teams left, so the money pool is being split 8 ways.
Okay.
Just to kind of have a benchmark of how the weight of this decision kind of is.
Yeah.
So
I think it's most fair in terms of that. And I think that, I mean, I'm not going to say any whatever, but between the 4 of us, I would say that we're 4 generally, level-headed in terms of understanding realism. I'm not saying that other people aren't, but I think the 4 of us kind of are just like, we get it. It's not ideal, but we get it. Cool. Let's do it and move on.
It's the fairest way kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it was so close.
Mm-hmm. And it was. And, I mean, if it was like, if you were up 10-1 and you had 2 shutouts and the other guy got blasted and he had 2 points and you had 14, I could see why you'd want to be like, whoa, what the fuck, right?
Yeah, but he's dead in the water kind of thing. But that's not the situation. Either guy could have won.
Yeah.
The fans of the podcast miss out the most because they don't get to see me versus you in the finals.
I know. All of our predictions coming true. we can believe. We know in our hearts that that's what was happening.
Oh, yeah.
So we can confidently say that was what was going to happen. And what was going to happen is we were just going to tie, and all tie breaks were going to be tied. So we were just going to tie and split the money anyways. So I mean, we're just skipping it a step early.
For sure.
But one I have been thinking, and I am prepared to drop a bombshell, which I do not think Dylan will be very happy with.
Okay.
But I don't care because I'm prepared to make an executive decision that since this season did not come to conclusion, we do not know if we like the setup or not. We cannot formally come to a conclusion. Thus, next year there will be no changes. It will be the exact layout. If we then decide we still want to make those changes after completing next year, we will default to the ones we agreed upon or revisit that conversation.
Yeah, I could see that being made. We made the decision so early in the season that as the season played out, I kind of didn't like it so much. I understand why we did it, but at the same time, you're right. Like we never crowned a winner based on this layout of things.
And I'm going to just say, and I don't care if this comes off as, you know, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but arrogant. I'm just going to say, no, not arrogant, but just I'm just going to take control of the situation. I'm just going to say that, like, I set up this pool in the theory that this is the setup I want, or I wanted to try as a keepers, to be the most interesting for everybody and to keep most people entertained the longest amount of the season for either being a building team or a team going for the championship. And I believed when I set up this pool that this was the right setup. And I still conceded at the time saying that I still felt it was the right setup, but I was open to potential changes. And I did say that I wanted to see how things kind of sorted out to see if it was good. And I know Dylan had to build based on what decisions we were going to do moving forward. And at the time, there were some discussions on stuff. But yes, it was early. And yes, it was before all of this happened. So I, myself, under the philosophy that if this didn't work out, I would never do fantasy again, I want to give this another shot. And
I think he might be able to come around a little bit to it. Especially because we weren't going to change any of the categories, right? We're never thinking of adding blocks.
And we now have Jesse, who's an active team. So that adds another team who potentially wants to add or trade. So it changes the trade game, the draft game, and the standings game, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, if that – because right now you got to think – I mean, I don't want to, whatever, but I got to think if Jesse's in the full season, he probably takes a spot from Jamie, right?
I would think so, just the way it was playing out.
Yeah, or pushes him down the rung one more.
Oh wait, anyway. Jesse was already in the playoffs though.
Sorry, yeah, but sorry, was he ahead of?
Yeah, he was ahead of Jamie. Yeah, he did.
So I mean, all season he could
have finished higher.
Oh yeah, for sure, and me even maybe. He was only two losses behind me for a team that was not very active until the end, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you add that into the game. Now there's different people with different dynamics. Does Dylan trade off earlier because he's out of it or in it? Does that make Joey say, screw it, I'm trading off because now he can't get in the playoff? Like, it can change a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
You got to assume Ben's going to be more active. I hope Joey's more active. If that's the case, this current setup is completely different next year, which no matter how you slice it, this year versus next year is going to be different anyways. So why don't we just make no changes? We didn't have the choice of concluding the season or making choices on that, so let's just default and not make any choices until
and I think we've discussed too how, because we can't even play the consolation bracket to figure out who drafts where. So I don't know if we got league-wide approval on this kind of scenario, but it seems like there'll be some sort of lottery for the picks with the teams.
Needed 6 votes. We already got 6 votes, so yes.
Okay, so like the losing bracket would have a lottery, and then the next two would have a lottery, and then the top four,
Jesse and Jamie would have a lottery. For 5-6.
Yep.
And then we could do it one of two ways. either Nick and I have a lottery to see who wins the matchup and who loses it, and then we do a lottery to find like the 2 winners and the 2 losers, and then do another lottery of the winners and the winners and the losers and the losers.
I'd rather just do a 4-way lottery.
Or we just do a 4-way lottery, which then allows the same odds.
Yeah, I think it'd be better just because you could like pick. You do like 10th pick and do him first, and then.
The only thing that really sucks that makes me hella nervous about that is like, for example, myself.
Yeah.
I traded off all these picks. Let's say for an unlucky person already, if I end up losing the lottery and I trade off everything, I don't get a chance to win anything, and then now I'm drafting 10th in every round, I'm going to be fucking annoyed as hell, yo. And then Beer walks away not trading any picks, getting $100, and getting maybe 7th pick. Like, that's kind of
it does
bullshit.
Suck, yeah.
But
it's the reality of what,
right?
Yeah. It is unfortunate, but Beers was going to be 7th pick anyway. So, no, just
well, no, he would. Oh, yeah.
I would have beat him, and then he would have lost.
No, if our prediction came true, he would have been 3rd because Nick would have been higher than him. You and I would have been taking 10-9. Nick would have been, or 8. Beer would have been 8, and Nick would have been 7.
Oh, so you're saying Beer would have beat Nick in the 3rd round?
Oh, true. I didn't think about that.
I was just saying he's going 0-2.
It
was a cheap shot
for some reason. I don't know why.
It was a cheap shot.
But I'm so glad it's not. That's such a cheesy way to do the draft pick. This consolation's like key.
Yeah. It's kind of lame that we're not going to play it. The whole thing's lame. The whole situation's lame. Not much.
Waste of time. It was a giant waste of time.
Yeah, I'll just add up all the hours we spent talking about it on here.
Well, I mean, whatever. We can, if I'm being real, talking about it isn't work to me. It's fun, right?
Yeah,
like, it's pleasure.
Yeah.
But doing the work, doing the spreadsheets, talking trade, maneuvering picks around, doing all that I spent so much time doing and helping Ben and doing all these other things, it was literally for nothing. So, I mean, I might as well have been doing this in a video game, right? I would have the same physical whatever to show out of it. So it's kind of frustrating. And like, I started looking at a mock draft today, and I think that we should do this lottery sooner than later.
Okay.
Because if we can't, I don't want to be stuck in a stage of just nothing, because then people will get bored and tune out. If we're going to call it, which I think we're getting to the point where we're going to call it.
Yep. We could do that. We could do an episode of this and just do a live stream.
I know Nick wants to be a part of it, so we'll have to figure out how to get everybody on a call. And I'm thinking maybe we do it on a weekend, because Nick's like in bed by now. So no, he gets up at like 4, right? So like, well, for my time, so like he goes to bed at a responsible time. So I don't think doing it late at night is a really good option. We can do it on the weekend
for sure.
Yeah, or I mean, I could always have him come here and he could sit beside me while we do it, kind of thing. That's always an option as well. I don't know what everyone's tech
capabilities,
availability, or capabilities are right now. I mean, with everybody kind of working from home, and if they have that ability, I'm assuming most people have some sort of setup right now where they can connect. But I think that we should do that so that we can start talking about finalizing trades, looking at keepers, doing stuff where people can actually start doing work and keep
the entertainment,
the
involvement,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know Nick's kind of taking time out, but I think he's just looking at it like there's nothing really to pay attention to.
You can't do anything.
But if we start doing this, if you start doing this, at least you can do some research and start putting things together and look at your keepers and talk to different teams and stuff like that. Like, I know myself, I've got 2 trades I'm working on, potentially 3 now, but it all comes down to draft positioning. So it depends, right?
Yeah, the whole thing blows, but we got to make the best of it, and really,
let's make some fun out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Have some fucking kick ass. I'll get some ping pong balls and draw the logo of each team on it.
I'm trying to think if there would be some fun way of doing the lottery offline, but then somehow, somewhat, like, kind of announcing the draft order based for the first round pick. So then you could be like, for example, Dylan has, how do I have this here?
Well, this is my thinking of it, of how to do it. I don't know why. Why do you think it should be offline?
I don't necessarily think offline, but I was just suggesting that, like, for example, we did the first round and we were like, okay, so with the 10th pick, it will be, draft slot, Tori, Dylan, you own that pick, so you have the 10th pick. And then you could be like, 9th slot is...
No, that's my vision. So my vision is that you take the bottom, the championship bracket, the 4 teams, like me.
Well, I guess it's going to be consistent in every round, right? So you're going to know whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry,
you just pull it, and then when you get down, when you're doing for the first pick, you have the 4 teams that were the bottom. You do the 4th pick, you do the 3rd pick, and then there's 2 teams left, and then you pick, whoever you pick is pick number 1.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So that's...
So you... Yeah, okay, yeah. So the lot... Okay, so but... How do you know any programs we can use for like a...
I was honestly thinking of like, I don't have it here, but like a bowl, put literally the ping pong balls. I put them up to the screen, like this person put it in, and then I just...
Are we going to do it where
it'll
it's
be
like
live,
we're
so
just
like
putting one ball in, or are we doing it the odds thing like the NHL where it's like, Tori
I
gets
think
3
it would just
balls,
be one
Alex
ball.
gets 4 balls,
No,
whatever.
I would figure just one ball per team because it's kind of the same. That I assume. Like,
okay.
Everyone gets
so then in one, we just do Jamie and Jesse.
Yeah.
And we'll figure that one out first. And then
I think we do that. We start with the championship bracket because we want to figure out 10, 9, 8, 7 first. And then we'll do...
I was going to say do Jesse and Jamie because they're the lamest.
We could do that too.
Positioning, just because they're locked in 5, 6.
Yeah, they're boring.
5 or 6, right? So then it can be, we could do, 5, 6, and they're locked in. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I was just thinking, just do it descending order, right? So.
Yeah, you could do that. It makes most sense to do it from 10 actually, because then we can be like, the loser, the 10th pick. Hopefully not me.
Yes.
I'm telling you right now. I'm calling right now. I'm gonna get the 10th pick.
No, it's me.
Yep. No. It's gonna be one of 2 things. Either Nick's gonna get the best and I'm gonna get the worst, or vice versa. And you and Sean will be in the middle. That's my prediction.
No, there's too many possibilities. We could do a simulation right now.
I know, right? It's funny. I'm gonna actually do that for a bit. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna take a piece of paper and like fold it up and put our 4 names on it, and then just like randomly every once in a while, just be like, I pick one. Oh crap! And see how many times.
Yeah.
I bet you I pick myself a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should totally do that. Let's plan that because let's be real. In a week from now, because we were in playoffs already, we can call it. Like we would have been what, midweek in the semis, right?
This would be finals right now. We'd be halfway through the finals.
Shit.
Because we did the midweek semis last week. I find it crazy that it's been a week.
It doesn't feel like it.
And hockey was going on a week ago.
It feels like it was 20 days ago, man.
It does, doesn't it?
It feels so long ago.
Time has slowed down.
Hockey. It's literally like...
Time has slowed down immensely.
There's nothing else that's important other than work if you have work to do, and be thankful that you have money coming in. Like, that's what I'm thankful I have a job right now.
Me as well, yeah.
I mean, I can sit here and complain about it. Everyone can complain about their jobs, but like, I'm fucking thankful I have somewhere where, like,
you can waste some time.
My partner, not even that. Me and my partner don't have to give up our place of house and give up we're kind of giving up our hobbies because we're not allowed to leave the house. But like, which is true. Like, I mean,
preach.
I joined her for Pilates and stuff like that. I golf. I play hockey. I do all these things. I sometimes curl. I sometimes do these other things, and like, can't do nothing.
Yep. Oh well.
But
we're doing what we can. We recorded the podcast. We're keeping to that.
Yeah.
We're not sure. We probably won't do a fantasy one until we decide on this lottery that we want to do, I guess.
I think what we'll do is maybe... Are you good Sundays? What's your schedule like?
Yeah, Sunday is fine.
Sunday's good? Okay. So maybe what we can do is do like a Sunday afternoon evening thing.
Yep.
Like maybe like just after lunch your time. So maybe like 3 o'clock, let's say ish, 4 o'clock ish our time on a Sunday.
Yep.
I mean, I was going to say we could get together, but right now we're going to have to do it online. Obviously, I think most people can connect somehow. Like, have you done Discord or anything with more? Can you add more people?
Oh yeah. You can make it work. Yeah.
Can you add up to the 10 people? Can we have 10 people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's
Worst
is
case
Discord
scenario.
just easy on your phone?
I haven't done it on my phone. I have the app though.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, I would say, is that we do what we're doing here, you and I, and like if Nick's beside you, whatever, I can stream. I can stream it to YouTube.
Well,
I can
Nick
stream.
probably shouldn't come to my house now that I think about it, right?
Realistically, no.
With social distancing,
yeah. So we could stream it on YouTube or Twitch, or anyone could watch it, and they could chat in the chat or.
I'm just thinking. I know some people like Jamie. I don't know his computer situation, but I'm pretty sure he would try to log in on his phone. So maybe what we can do is if we say 2 Sundays from now or whatever, we'll do that. Then maybe we can take turns and maybe you can call Jesse and make sure his end's working, and then maybe.
Me and Jesse have done podcasts like this, so he's good.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe we can try and check him in and see just test the 3-way with him and you and I.
3-way, I like it.
Ooh, sensual.
No, for sure. I'm sure
I don't think Joey will be joining us.
Worst case scenario, if they miss it or whatever, we'll have a recording of it. I'll put it on the channel. They can see it.
Okay, and then we can send them the link. If they don't know, we'll be like, here, watch the video for you to find out, because we're not going to ruin it for maybe we'll make that rule is no talking about it in the WhatsApp group until everyone's got a chance to see the video if they want to.
Yeah.
Or say hey, no chatting for till Friday if we do it on Sunday, no mention of whatever, and then after that we can start talking about whatever, set up some sort of groundwork. That way we don't ruin it for people.
Yeah, I would think maybe we're not going to do this next Sunday kind of thing. I don't think. So,
no, I'm
we
just
got a couple
saying.
Of weeks to figure out the logistics and.
Well, realistically, I was just saying I think that probably this Sunday we can officially call it. If not, I
would say it's pretty much.
We can call it. It's done. It's done. Because if this is the final week, because I always try and pick at the earliest week so that when people scratch guys or whatever down the stretch, rest them for whatever, that it doesn't impact their fantasy. So even if they start up next week, which they're not, there's only we've already conceded that we're not getting regular season, which is what fantasy tracks, right? Yeah. They're not going to track playoff performance for some teams that aren't even in the playoffs for a fantasy season, for a regular season. So it's over. It's done.
It's unfortunate, but it's over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's now that I kind of talk it out loud. It's there's no hockey to be played. There's no not everyone's going to drop their non-playoff guys just to pick up playoff rostered guys. That's not going to happen. It's just not. So it's over. So
yeah. You wasted that ad on Stamkos.
No, I didn't.
I'm kidding. You gonna keep his ass?
No, I'm gonna try and trade him.
Someone
I know there's 2 or 3 guys who may be interested.
Oh my god! If you get anything for it, I'll quit. I'll quit the league.
I have discussed, not with Stamkos, but with different players, conditional picks. So I may throw that out there based on performance next year. So it's I give you Stamkos at no charge, but depending where he performs next year, you may owe me an 8th rounder next year or something.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's legal. It's how you manufacture assets. Honestly, looking at the 2nd rounders, I don't think anyone's going to keep Stamkos. I don't know.
They shouldn't. That's why half the reason I dropped him, even though I could have potentially had the 20th overall pick, which I guess Stamkos could have been okay for 20th overall. Mm-hmm. But it's still risky.
Well, right now, I mean, I think Joey is looking at keeping Marner. Last time we spoke, I think that's what he was looking at. If we're assuming that, he doesn't even own that pick. So Joey owns my 2nd. Assuming I lose the lotto and he gets the 10th pick, he would theoretically have the debate Marner, Stamkos. Marner.
And he'll pick Marner because he's a homer.
Probably, but I personally would pick Stamkos because goals are more valuable than assists. Because Marner's value is with the forward. If Marner plays with Matthews, he's more valuable than if he plays with Tavares, even though you're probably only talking a difference of 8-ish goals on the season, 8 or 10 goals.
I'm with you on that.
But yeah, we'll have to sort it out because today when I was trying to do the mock draft, after doing a couple things, I realized none of the picks. Well, I already knew this, but none of the picks are sorted out. So like, I can't do anything. I can't do any work. Like, literally, this league is on pause. It's driving me nuts.
All right,
we'll
figure it out. We'll figure it out, and stay tuned to next episode, and you will find out yourselves.
Exactly. Stay safe.
Right. So now we're 2 weeks out of season fantasy being done, and you said you had some topics that you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, just a couple kind of updates.
Yeah.
I think it's, a good opportunity now as commissioner to kind of just provide some updates on where my head's at, where what I'm thinking, kind of what, a little bit of direction, a little bit of clarity if possible.
Yeah.
I know there's been lots of discussion about potential league rule changes and whatnot. Call it selfish or whatever. I don't really care. I'm going to call off the rule changes this year. We're going to keep it as is for next year. I really wanted to see how this turned out. Mm-hmm. And if it turned out amazing, I was already willing to bring that conversation back to the table.
Yeah.
About, hey, did we
really meet? Yeah. I think we did it. I think we definitely acted too fast. Like, we made the decision in November, right?
Yeah, I think so too. So I was kind of like, I personally was still open to everything.
Yep, me too.
I don't know the general feel on that. I get the feeling there might be a couple people who are upset. There might be a couple people who prefer that. And then there's probably a few kind of people who don't really care.
I could see people being upset if they kind of set their team up in a way where it matters. But I just don't think there is a team that did that. If you want to keep a
defender, you're not really thinking. There's a few out there worth keeping.
Like 2 or 3, maybe.
There's a couple more, just because there's some late rounders. Like, I don't know, one guy off the top of my head, and I know right now for Dylan is Dougie Hamilton. I don't know which round he's in. I want to say 6. That's a good keeper.
Yeah, he was one of the 5 I was including.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the 5 I was including. I was including him. John Carlson's probably up there, should he not retire after all is said and done now. But, like, the other ones, like, I don't know who, other than those
even, like, I know Dylan, I'll just use this example just because I know he's put it out there in the chat group for Cale Makar.
Yeah.
Cale Makar's probably going to win the rookie title this year.
I don't know about that.
Or he's finalist, right? He's top 3 for sure.
Nominee,
For sure, 100%. Next year, if Colorado's a powerhouse, which they probably will be, their D is pretty deep. They've got Gerard, they've got Johnson, they've got Graves, they've got these other guys who also all play, right?
Yep.
How elite can he actually be? Shots on goals won't be elite, right?
Yeah.
Assists might be. Assists and points, power play goals maybe. Or power play points, I mean. So that's a three categories. So that's half your category. So does that really make him elite? And does that really make him worth keeping?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Me personally, I don't think D are worth keeping unless they have high shot on goal volume. That's the only thing to me that would make me carry a D.
Yeah, that's basically
most forwards shoot more than D, right? So unless I can have a D that shoots basically the same as a forward, like a Werenski, if he's good, although Werenski's not worth keeping. But that type of guy who shoots a lot, those are the only.
And he was only shooting a lot because Seth Jones was out.
Exactly. So I mean, that shortens the pool even more.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm trying to say is just if there's 3 spots for D keeping, I would be astonished if people kept more than 1 D, if any.
Well, I think the biggest problem with what the proposed rule change of 4D is that the D aren't deep enough to make that, like, the whole point in this shallow roster is you'd have pretty good players, top first or second line players, but, like, the average team only has 1 fantasy D that you should really look at, so that's 30.
Some teams don't even
have
them.
Exactly. Some teams don't.
Probably more like 20, 22, maybe 24.
Yeah, so, like, the fact that we have 4, like, we're starting to roster, like, 3rd, 4th line type wingers
where at the same time we're taking away these second line wingers that the waiver wire would have been pretty.
The idea was behind it was that if we have 3D spots, the people that were raising concerns were saying, okay, well, we have 3D spots, but some people in the league aren't even rostering any. Well, if we go to 4D, that's going to make people roster 1 or 2D, which just pushes the D line down, which I think was the only sight in goal at the time. Or goal in sight, sorry, at the time. But the only thing that worries me is the waiver period. Is next year Jesse's obviously going to be more active.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That if we regular season, I don't care. What I'm saying.
So I should ask, you're keeping the 7 ads then?
Yeah, I guess so.
7 ads, 100. Right?
Unless people want to drop it to 5, but I mean, if I'm just going to keep it the same rules, shouldn't I just keep it the same rules?
Yeah, I guess I think you should, but I didn't clue in right away that part was something we agreed to change too.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm just going to be real right now with goalies. So we kind of all, I think, learned this year that it doesn't really make sense to try and draft your 2 goalies. I think most people kind of learn the lesson that don't lock yourself in, try and find the 1 goalie you like, and then try and either find that second goalie or flex somebody.
Yep.
So I think that market's going to solve itself. And I think a lot more teams are going to go with that strategy of 1 goalie. But then that's going to kill the waiver wire, right? Because if there's 4 or 5 teams all trying to flex goalies, people aren't going to wait till Saturday, Sunday now, right? So you're going to see guys.
But that'll also increase the value of a second goalie if that becomes the case.
Exactly. And then that might lead to some people going back to a 3 goalie system where if they stumble upon, if they draft a top goalie and they stumble upon another top 6, top 7 goalie, and then you also pick up a guy that's hot on waivers, maybe you ride 3 goalies for a bit and take the saves and take the wins.
Yep.
and whatever. I think there's going to be a lot more riding of waves next year, which is going to be provide way more unpredictability, which, look at the standings, pulling them up right now quickly. So, realistically, Dylan's team isn't really fair to analyze because he sold off so early. If going into next year, if we were to do the same kind of thing, you would say that A, he'd probably be more active, B, he'd be more competitive, and C, maybe he would even add, right? I think those are all 3 fair statements. Joey is the one team I'm a little bit worried about in terms of activity, and I guess maybe Ben. But you make Dylan more competitive, you add 2 or 4 points to them. That's only, 2 wins difference between third and out of the playoffs.
Yep.
So I think that next
you're
year
gonna add you gotta add about 40 ads for Dylan throughout the season. Probably another 30 for Jesse's team because
which Dylan probably would have found a goalie if he was trying to be active, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of goalies to pick up at different times throughout the season, and that's his Achilles heel right now. So, even me, for example, I lost that 1 week by 1 game-winning goal, and I lost another the week before that by 3 shots on goal. So, something so small was the difference of 4 points for me. You lose those 4 points, that takes me down to barely making the playoffs. You add those 4 points to me, I almost won the league. So, that swing of only 4 points.
Every game mattered a lot in this pool.
Yeah, it's going to be vital to pay attention every day of every week against every opponent because it's going to be versus opponent, right, for tiebreak. So, you're going to need that win. If you're tied on Sunday and you're I don't need to do that ad, and you lose or you tie, that could come back to bite you later on.
Definitely.
So, and now that everybody knows the 100 ads is the entire season, I kind of like it because it makes you really think about it and be smart.
Yeah, you can't use 7 a week either. For me, I know I didn't use any ads for the first week, and then maybe 1.
Yeah, you started really slow.
I started slow, and then I ramped up, and then I actually didn't have enough ads to finish the playoffs.
Well, that's how you have to do it, right? Because in theory, it's going to get more competitive, and people are going to try harder
as the season
closer you get to the playoffs, right? So you're going to want more ads then. So that's exactly it. But at the same time, the guys who are going to be the steals are going to be the guys you pick up and off waivers in the first couple weeks. So like,
yep.
you got to weigh that, right? So like, that's why I like it. Is it's not just, I had 3 injuries this week. I used all my ads. Great. I won this week because of it. I want it to be like, use your ads accordingly. Like, you can be like Sean and stream goalies all year, but if you're streaming 2 starts every week, that's half your ads just on streaming, right? That's not you trying to win weeks or trying to chase in any categories. That's just you streaming a goalie. So at what point is that really a benefit? So there's going to be different angles that pop up next year because people are going to do different things based on what they learned this year.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that, and that's why I think that, let's just not do the rule changes. Let's see. And to be completely honest, a lot of the people who were on one side of the fence this year may be on the other side of the fence next year and may have difference of opinion, right?
Yeah, for
so
sure.
It will be a lot more opinions where it's like, hey, you've been on both sides of the fence. What do we really want to do now, if anything? And then that way, people who are like, maybe Dylan, the first year kind of sucked. I didn't like it. Yeah, well, maybe you didn't pay as much attention because you decided to sell off and all these other things. But then year 2, you loved it because you're stacked and all these other things. And you thought, oh, okay, now that I'm paying attention, maybe it's actually something I really like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be 2 complete.
Forwards are just more fun to watch, too. Like, why are we trying to get rid of a forward for a D? I don't know.
Yeah, and like the transactions, cutting that down, that's just going to lower activity and make it less entertaining. And I don't know, I really like the setup of it.
I
I'm
personally
going to give
love
myself
it too.
a pat on the back. I think I did a good job with the setup.
It's my favorite one I've played yet. So I think I've said I'm trying to model somewhat of a baseball one behind, similarly to this one, but a little bit different because baseball is its own beast.
Got to tinker it a little bit, but
yeah,
I was really happy with it.
I think you should be.
Yeah, I think it's a good setup, and like I said, with adding Jesse next year, that's going to be really big. Like that's gonna be tough because like Brad didn't make any ads really at the start, right? Plus he held on to Gibson all year. You put that in Jesse's hand. Jesse probably would have gave up on Gibson halfway through, maybe. I don't really know him well enough.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Let's say, or at least if he was looking to add, he might be out talking potential trade for goalies, right? Maybe he would have stumbled upon.
Yeah, all it takes is one. It's like the butterfly effect. One little ad here thing changes the whole league, right?
All of a sudden, he had Bishop, I believe, too, right?
Yep.
So I mean, like you trade Gibson for some other good forward or something, and then you add Khudobin. You have those 2 guys for Dallas. You're pretty much set. I mean, I don't really like that strategy, but some people do, right? You get both.
Talking about this is a little depressing for me. It's just like, how is the playoffs going to be? Like, how?
Yeah. And that's why I want to keep it the same, just to be like, I don't know. I know. That's the other thing, is that if we keep it the same, we know exactly what we want to do, right? We know exactly how we want to plan our team, how you and I might be able to chase a little bit more versus somebody like Dylan or whoever who might be able to build a little bit more off the start. It's going to be something where you can plan a little bit better and actually kind of, have an idea. Like next year for me, I know if I can, get my Vasilevsky thing figured out, my plan and goal is just Vasilevsky plus a flex. If I can make that happen, I think I'm probably one of the toughest goalie teams to beat next year. If I can get a good flex or stumble upon a good 2 goalie, right? So
the key. Kemper will be on the market, don't worry.
I could also go through all this hassle, spend all this time and energy to keep Vasilevsky, and then Vasilevsky freaking tears his groin game 1, and I've got no Vasilevsky all year and no other goalie.
Or he realizes that there's bigger things to life than hockey, and he doesn't want to come back next year.
Yeah. But I got some plans. I think that I'm going to try and stagger my keepers. I think that people are going to run into an issue next year that I think everybody's going to keep a lot of their keepers out of the draft next year, which means that like they'll keep their keepers for like 3 years and then they'll lose their entire team in 1 year.
Yeah.
As opposed to kind of just losing this guy here and losing that guy there. I know Draisaitl's being kept for 3 years. That's 1,000%.
Yeah. I'm probably keeping Eichel for 3 years unless.
Yeah.
So.
The only way it would make sense for us to drop those guys is like, let's say there's a scenario where next year, I don't know, like 10 games in, they break their femur and they miss the entire season and everybody kind of forgets about them. you might be able to be like, oh, I'm not going to protect them and get them in and around where you had them originally, like late second, early third, and like refresh your keeper clock. But like obviously that's the only way to do it without losing it, and then them going in the top 20 now or top 15 or whatever.
Crazy.
That's what I'm hoping happens is Draisaitl. Well, not that I hope, but
yeah, I hope he gets injured too.
If there's a season where he has a major injury or something like that, I hope it's a season where I happen to suck so that I can not keep him and then restart his keeper clock.
Yeah.
And then that's what I was planning on doing in the other pool with McDavid because I had him. I was going to wait. And then when I was like rebuilding, I would keep him on my team, use him to win consolation, not keep him, have the top pick, re-pick him, and then restart the clock on his keeper pick. So that essentially,
I guess if you have first overall pick, you don't really want to waste it on keeping your guy.
Exactly, right.
And then you also just let him go back and then pick him again, right? Okay.
So that way you can now keep McDavid for 6 years legally, right?
I never thought of that.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to do in the other pool so that nobody could get their hands on McDavid for 6 years. And then after that, I'd be like, after 6 years or whatever, somebody else have at him. But that was my plan. So anybody listening or for you, by all means, go and remember that.
Oh, man, your video just took a shit right there.
I love bringing up points like that where people are like, yeah, I didn't think of that. Because like
you're building a monster though by giving me these strategies, like.
But that's the problem, right? Is that I want everybody to think of these things and use them, but I don't want them to use them against me or to battle me when I'm trying to use them to get something else I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be that guy that tries to play dirty or fight dirty a little bit and like get away with it. If I'm going to fight dirty, I'm also going to tell other people that they're also able to fight dirty and then see what happens. That's ideal. That like I would love a league where I try my absolute hardest and I can barely get into the playoffs. I would love that.
It's going to happen
because that just means that nobody knows who's going to win.
That's what this Coast to Coast IHartSports podcast is going to bring. It's going to bring it's going to happen. It might take some time, but we'll get some very competitive leagues out of this, I think. That's what I'm hoping to do with this baseball league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where I'm at for baseball, depending on where it obviously comes back. And
it all depends. Hey, man, if you don't have hockey and then you've been without sports for months, you're going to be desperate.
I know. But not keepers baseball, right?
No, not this year. I think long term, maybe more of a long term. I have this vision. I just foresee gambling with sports and fantasy just taking off. I have this vision of building something around that and just like a place where you can find leagues to play in, and I think the long-term vision, just a community, like a community of kind of what we've done with hockey, but all the sports. It's a lot.
Like for this type of setup, like I feel like different numbers deserve different setups. Like this type of pool that our hockey's in, I don't think would strive any less than 8, any more than 12.
Yep. Possibly,
but if you had like 24 teams, I'm sure I could make a different league fit better for 24 teams. But I would never, after talking a few times about potential expansion stuff, I would never make this league more than 12 teams. 12 would be the max.
Yeah, you do 12, and then you have like you do it like soccer. You have a consolation league where the top 2 teams go out and move up the next year, and regulation.
Well, I guess you could. That would be the only way you could really expand that. Is like theoretically, you have a 10-team league, and you want to expand. You make another league. So let's say you have 2 leagues, and you have your Premier League and your whatever league, and like if your 2 bottom teams, whoever loses goes into a consolation playoff or something like that, or bottom 2 drop to the other league, and the other top 2 swap up each year or something like that. You could do something like that.
Definitely.
Have like tiers of leagues. Be like, I'm champion of tier C. Okay, that's great. I'm the loser of tier A.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. But yeah, I think that we're gonna hold off that, and I would like to do the lotto. I don't know if you're down.
Yeah, I'm down.
Next Sunday.
You want to do it next week?
Do it around 4, and then we can bring some of the guys in from the pool. I know Nick wants to be involved.
You don't mean
Dylan
this Sunday? You mean like 10 days from now, or?
Yeah, 10 days from now. Yeah.
Okay.
So that gives us time. Like we can kind of do a quick chat next week if you want, just a quick catch up, and this is what's going to go on. Tune in if you want to kind of check it out.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of get everything ready. I know Dylan said he wants to. Well, he said he didn't really care, but he said it would be kind of neat to be involved with everything. Like
worst
live.
case scenario, if people can't watch live, I'll post it like right after we do it.
Yeah, and then we'll just kind of have a general agreement. Don't post stuff on the message board for 24 hours or something like that. So that gives time to
everyone has a chance to
get the video around to some of the other people and whatnot, or if people are
if they care
working later. That
we can even have Jesse and Jamie come on live and do a rock paper scissors.
I think Jesse would join, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Jesse would join. Nick and Dylan both said they would join. I think Steve would probably join, but he hasn't responded to me yet. I don't know about Jamie. I would assume that Jamie and Beer are probably both in or both out, or we'll both watch it later or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just do a lotto for Jamie and Jesse for 5, 6, and then we'll do the lotto for 1, 2, 3, 4 in terms of the top teams for the playoffs, and then we'll do the lotto for the top picks in the actual draft, so the bottom 4 teams.
Yep, works for me. Cool.
We'll get that all planned out, and we'll send some messages around. I'm excited. I want to start doing the mock, and I want to get my trades in order because I got three potential trades, and I need to know if I can keep Vasilevsky. I need to know if I can make that happen. If it's not going to happen, then I got to change my game plan around a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll see.
Alrighty, anything else?
No, man. I think that's it. Yeah, the whole league changes on hold. Gonna stay the same. And draft lotto coming. So.
All right, cool. Your camera is totally taking a shit. So.
Yeah, yours has been off for the last hour. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just didn't say anything because.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
All these faces I've been making at you haven't been seeing. That's good.
No, I'm just watching myself on big screen.